Would you play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Would You Play? We have some exciting stuff to talk about. December 3rd and 4th, as you all know, was the PlayStation Experience 2016 here in Anaheim, California. Thankfully for us, that's only an hour and a half away. I wasn't able to go, but Zaciroth here was able to score a Sunday pass, and he got to see all kinds of cool games. He got to see all the previews for all the games coming out for this next year. He got some insanely amazing loot to share with us. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what he got to see there, what he got to play, and show a little bit of some of the things that he got for free.
Well, going on the for free stuff, the ticket was, I went one day, Sunday. It cost $40 for the ticket, and I got more than $40 worth of free stuff. They had a bunch of different, like, it was sort of different kind of mini games within the convention itself. You had an app that you had your lanyard. Do you have, can you go grab the lanyard real quick? Yeah. I had a lanyard, and the lanyard you would scan under every booth had a phone and like a phone app kind of thing, and it would scan your lanyard, and you'd walk up with your lanyard. There's a lanyard, and as you can see, and you walk up to with the app, and it would scan, and it would give you on your app debit points saying that you'd been to that whatever that event was, which would unlock some places. It would unlock like the indie games would unlock their video games. So you get a voucher for a PS4 download of a video game. I earned at least 5 different video games. And then the other thing was that you would some companies and places would have a card game. And here's the cards. Definitely, some of them would actually have different cards based off of their characters, and even give you unlockables in game. Definitely, the most interesting thing is as you unlock stuff, you get like the bronze for showing up, and then you get the silver. I unlocked. I just didn't have time to go by the booth. And if you saw everything, you got the platinum, which gave you like $10 off of PlayStation Store or something like that. But just walking in the door, they had a bag, as you can see here, and PlayStation bag. They gave this T-shirt. This one I got from playing a game called Riggs. It was like a VR mech arena fighting game, sports fighting game, and my team won. And they pulled us aside and gave us this. There was a gear store there. I can't actually remember, Pro Gear or something like that.
Afterglow.
And they have the Afterglow stuff. They gave a free T-shirt at their booth. But in the bag also came, I got these PlayStation, and you can see right there, ooh, there's like a little PlayStation emblem in the corner.
Yeah, let's pull those things out.
I'm going to pull those out. They gave, I mean, this is cheesy. They gave temporary tattoos, but they're very collectible. I'll keep them for my PlayStation experience. Now look at that. I mean,
These are
cheesy
so very
80s
sci-fi
look. Yeah,
that's
cyberpunk.
exactly what I was thinking.
But definitely people were wearing them. Literally, people came in and were wearing these as soon as they got them.
Hell, I'm gonna wear them.
They gave me, I guess, because you're at a convention, everybody wants to is touching all the stuff. So what a better way to keep your germs in control and give you a PlayStation themed hand sanitizer spray, and then a PlayStation themed water bottle, which I think is supposed to come with an infuser, but I'm not sure. Regardless,
So
cool. It was really cool. But then the big thing there was every company. There's you walked in the floor. There was, of course, the major companies that had their giant theatrical experiencing the actual game in their kind of feel to them. But every other company had cool little gimmick giveaways. There's a sports game called 3-on-3 Freestyle, gave out little bands like this. But every other company, especially indie companies, gave out little.
This is for you, Jones. You know who you are.
Little pin, everything. Like every single game had a little pin for it. And just there was a lot of pins. Like I collected probably, this is not even all of them. I collected probably 40 pins just by being there and going booth to booth. I definitely wanted to discuss some of the things I saw. I saw the trailer with Kojima for Dead Stranding. Very interesting. This one, of course, didn't have what's his name from what was it? The was it zombie thing? I can't think. Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, The Walking Dead. Yeah.
What's his name? Can't remember. He was in, he's the main. He's like Kojima's favorite, coming from the PT project with Silent Hills, and he was in this trailer. But this trailer had, I don't know, was it tanks and tentacles and a baby in a weird canister?
No.
It was.
Oh, that one.
This one was even, but this new trailer, which I don't think I showed you yet,
you're
but it's
talking about Daryl.
yeah, but that plays Daryl. Well, he was in this one. This one is a whole different trailer. It's really strange. There's a lot of cosplay there by the companies, definitely by Sony itself. But there was like Power Up the Rapper was walking around. People had Power Up the Rapper beanies. I didn't get one. I really wanted one. I didn't get a Power Up the Rapper beanie. There's Crash Bandicoot walking around. Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank, full on like Ratchet and Clank. And the thing is the best cosplay, which I'll have pictures up. The best cosplay had to be the from Horizon Zero Dawn. There was full on animatronic walking like raptors with mecha rhino. Like and they moved. They had their LED light for their faces that would glow and they make sounds.
They made that weird chirping noise.
Fully animatronic. It was a sight to see. Then they were outside the entrance, which when you come in the entrance, they had the giant banner that covered half of the actual convention center, PlayStation experience with this logo on it. Of course, Horizon Zero Dawn definitely is their main draw for this one time. That and The Last Guardian.
Yes, don't forget The Last Guardian.
Which
I'm excited.
It was a big line for The Last Guardian. It had a whole temple to walk through. I didn't really play it. I saw some guys play it. I'm more down for the fact that maybe The Last Guardian will be released and we can quit talking about it from year to year. Hopefully it will be good. I like Shadow of the Colossus, so hopefully that will be good.
Now, some of the things you got to see that I'm excited about and I didn't get to see was, of course, Uncharted 4 Survival.
Yeah.
Because I can never get enough Nathan Drake. Let's see, the other one would be Eve Valkyrie. I haven't played Eve Online in forever, but I'm super excited to get back to playing it. Some personal favorites for both of us would probably be Yooka-Laylee.
Yes, Yooka-Laylee was there as
the new
demo.
Psychonauts.
Yes.
Except apparently it's just like a mini story.
It's a VR, but it's in between. So all those fans who are upset that it's going to just be a VR, I think it was announced that it's going to be an in-between story. So there's going to be a Psychonauts 2, hopefully, in plan. I'm sure Tim Schafer has that in plan. But until then, there's this VR experience, which it seemed fun.
And then, of course, let's not forget Persona 5. It got pushed back another 2 months, but considering what they're giving us in return, I'm not going to complain. I've had it on pre-order since last year. I'll get it eventually.
It seems to be great.
Another one that everybody's been crazy about apparently, and I actually had to look up because I'd never heard of it till he started sending photos, was Let It Die.
So Let It Die. Okay, so Let It Die. This is how my description of Let It Die is. It was like Japanese hard rock Visual K meets cyberpunk, a horror splatterfest with Dark Souls gameplay in hell. It was awesome.
So it's like, those musicians Perturbator made a game.
Similar, yeah. And everybody was using glow in the dark neon style stuff with blood. They had a booth set up. They had a big, looked like an outside of a building. And then a train subway that they had set up where you could take photos. And then there are all these people half dressed and some girl in weird nurse bondage outfits hooked up with masks and blood everywhere. And they had this their mascot is like a skateboard using Grim Reaper with sunglasses that did the weird Japanese swirl.
Okay, I have to say, the first time I saw the mascot for Let It Die, because he wears the glass and everything, I could have sworn that it was from that old movie with the wrestlers. They Live.
They Lived, yeah. It had a very
They Live kind of
They
Live
because they were that he has that glasses.
When
and
you
stuff.
first showed it to me, I could have sworn I was thinking They Live. They're making a game of that.
I mean,
That's exactly what I thought.
But it was bloody. I got to see a little bit, play a little bit of the demo, and it's free online right now. Apparently, they were announcing it came out on the 2nd or the 3rd. And they were announcing it the day it came out. So it was almost like a launch party for them.
Yeah, I looked it up, and apparently from what I've read already, don't quote me on this because I haven't looked too much into it. I just hadn't had time. It's like half played on PS4, half played on your phone app.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
didn't get
know.
to
I'm gonna
really
have
get
to.
into it. I just downloaded it
We're
today.
gonna look it up and we will do a review
Yeah,
on it.
it's gonna be reviewed. That is definitely gonna be one of our
And then of
reviews.
course let's talk about Supergiant Games.
Okay, so Supergiant Games, they've gotten big. They're big enough. They had their own booth, like not a small booth like the indie companies did. They had screens for you to sit down and play. They had a little store that sold their. They had their transistor vinyl, some posters, some Bastion stuff, and ultimately they had Pyre. Pyre's their new game. Some kind of it's kind of nomadic feeling. Definitely gypsy-ish, but with a very cultic drive to it with magic. But it was the banners of it. His Pyre was their focus. They announced the soundtrack and multiplayer. I think it's one of their first games that have a real multiplayer focus also. But definitely it was big there. They were there, and I was surprised how their presence they had. They felt like they were a part of the team there.
Well, they honestly, if it wasn't for Supergiant Games and what they did with Bastion, I don't think our indie games would be half as big as they are now. It seemed to me, from what I've seen and what I've read about other people that have been there, that the main focus this year was honestly the indie games. That they're really giving them props for the efforts that they have done as individual creators.
Definitely. So yeah, when you walked in, you could get lost in some of the big sets, and the indie games maybe you couldn't focus on them, but when you walked in, yeah, you see the big sets. There's an Uncharted
The
had
Resident Evil.
a Resident Evil has its horror mansion.
Yeah, that was the one they had at Comic Con that I did get to see.
And it's a VR experience, like a haunted house kind of thing. And then Uncharted had its like Spanish villa, Caribbean style, just
Had like a walkway.
just really walkway with bridges and hanging skeletons and cages and stuff. And then there's a one that was called Farpoint, which had a whole alien world, like desert dune style thing with a giant arachnid, guys in armor suits with guns just standing there. It was pretty cool as another VR experience. But then you could almost get lost looking at all of those and not realize that the indie games, which there were lines and lines of indie games, were the main experience for people who didn't want to wait for the long lines.
Maybe they made those big things to try and compete with the indies.
Literally, it's what it felt like because the indie games were there. They had good presence. They had actual developers on floor. They had all these buttons. There were some really promising indie games. I'm going to do a whole different segment later just about the indie games I saw because they really just didn't stand out for what I'm saying here because it was hard to keep up with them. There's a lot of them. Of course, Ukulele were there. There was two old Sega games like the Monster Boy and Wonder Island or Wonder whatever. Those were there. They were like a lot of remake indie games, but then there was Metroidvanias took the floor. Like if it was an old like an RPG or a new tactic style RPG, it was a Metroidvania. Like every other thing was exploratory with the maps. Like everybody was on the Metroidvania kick, and that was the big show stealer.
Read only memory?
Read only memory was a little different. That was a point and click adventure.
Oh.
Very much in the line of game called Police Knots from Kojima, like Kojima's Police Knots, or Snatcher, kind of like that. It was very much those are Kojima games if you remember.
Yeah.
And they were definitely like there's text, and then you use your point and click, you use your cursor to go next, and there's a lot of voice acting.
Took over his life.
Yeah, well, now Dead Stranding is creeping everybody out, so I think he's enjoying that. He announced that it was all influenced by some kind of band. He went in Europe and listened to a band song, and it gave him the influence for it.
Do you know the band?
We'll have to look the band up again. He announced it, and I can't remember. He actually is announcing they're re-releasing their album with a cover based off of Dead Stranding. It's kind of like a
well, if nobody knew who they were before, they will now.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people forgot who Garbage was until he had
that is true. Yeah, I remember when I heard that song, I was like, I know this song. Where is it from? And then I remembered, oh yeah, it's from back when I was like 14.
So, big deal here. For me, things that I saw there. Crash Bandicoot remake was there. They were announcing that they're going to remake 1 through 3 of the Crash Bandicoots. It felt like a relaunch because really it's one of the first games anybody remembers from PlayStation, like when it first came out, was the Crash Bandicoot games.
Yeah.
So them remaking Crash Bandicoot, them having Crash there, it just felt like you were taken back to the 90s when Crash Bandicoot was part of the mascot of the PlayStation
Yeah,
team.
because you used to see him on all the ads all the
Yeah, he
time.
used to be their
I remember
mascot.
seeing. I mean,
Naughty
I never
Dog's
played the
mascot
game
was
that
them.
much, but I remember in magazines it was always
Yeah,
Crash
Crash
Bandicoot.
Bandicoot on the front, and he got popular in Japan. And he just kind of died off because the company had made some bad deals and made some bad design choices.
I'm sorry. Does everybody hate me now because I said I never played Crash Bandicoot?
It's okay. It's okay. You won't be the only one, I'm sure, out there. And
I'm a PC
listener
gamer. I
land.
don't do consoles so much.
That's fine. Let's see. Other things was, so I'll just get out of the way. VR was something I had not really tried until now, and it blew me away. Like maybe it was the PlayStation's VR. I didn't get motion sick. I felt so immersed. I played 2 games heavy. I played Rigs, which is a like a mecha sports VR game. It was really strange. You were aiming. The aiming with the head was a little different, but otherwise you were in this suit. You were a female avatar, which was a little strange because I looked down and I was. I mean, it felt real. I mean, it was obviously CG, but I looked down, had boobs, and I was just like, okay. And then we had to run, and it wasn't but halfway through when we were barely winning that I was told, oh, after you get a certain point, boost points, you jump yourself into a hoop like you're playing basketball. It's like basketball with guns and mechs. I'm not sure. It was good. It was my intro, and then I went and waited the 15 minutes in line for Eve Valkyrie, and that was amazing. There was a cockpit.
So is the game itself going to be VR or is it going to be?
So it's definitely VR only. Oh, this new one's a VR only.
So I guess I'll be investing in a VR set then if I plan to play.
Yeah. But maybe we'll go down that line. Once we get the $400 it's going to cost for a VR set. But it's definitely that cockpit. They sent me in there. They split it up or in the weight line, this team versus this team, and you just competed inside this. I mean, at first I was like, you're in a launch pad. It didn't look so real. And I started going forward. The lights came on, and when I came out of that launch pad, out of the side of the ship, I was there. It was real. I didn't get sick. Swirled around doing barrel rolls, chasing after people. Me and the whole team. Before I knew it, I was yelling and cheering along with everybody else. It was awesome.
Which is great because I know that up until now you've actually been really apprehensive about the idea of
So-
VR. Every time anybody mentions anything about VR, you've just been like, no.
So
And
I
then you
hated
did this, and
I
suddenly
hated the Connect.
VR, man.
I hated the Connect.
Nobody liked the
I
Connect. It just didn't work.
even though I own a Wii U and love it,
It's so
still
funky.
I'm not big into the whole, oh no, I can touch things with my hands kind of thing. But once I'm actually there and how the VR immersed, it felt like I was still playing a game.
Well,
but
VR
I was
takes
there.
like 3 steps ahead of just.
I mean, yeah, I had a controller that was still playing a game, but I was there. Other than that, big things for me. I also saw King of Fighters 14 was there. They're announcing they're doing a graphic lift, I guess, because the release that just came out, some people complained the graphics were bland. I was more proud that they were releasing the new port of Garou, Mark of the Wolves. That's an old arcade classic for me. I don't think it was ever released in America.
I don't know because I remember I asked because I didn't know what it was. I just thought
Yeah,
it was
see, a lot of
cool.
people
I was
didn't
like,
know.
What is this?
I don't know a copy. My copy is an emulated copy because I mean I played it in Japan in arcades and that's about all. Like Parappa, I said he was there, but they're doing a new Parappa HD and 4K game.
Oh, 4K.
Yeah, it's good. It's the Parappa cutouts now look like real cutouts in front of your screen. Horizon Zero Dawn, of course, was the big draw. The main draw for Sony. It was like the main character mascot of the thing was the whole Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
They had the gameplay. You'd go wait for the gameplay.
Yeah,
they got a Gran Turismo and a few other things on there. Gran Turismo was good. There's the live cars. I'll show you the photos later on the live cars.
Yeah, we're gonna make a blog post. We're gonna have all the photos uploaded onto it as well as some pictures of some of the other loot that we have because I've already hung them up on our walls.
Posters. They have a lot of posters.
Posters and cards and things like that from as Zaciroth said, the developers themselves for a lot of these indie companies were there on site to meet and speak with you and promote their games. And so he had a whole collection of cards.
They would have cards, and sometimes the cards would actually be their business card for that developer. Like he would actually be there, or she would be there, and they'd have and you look back and had the names on it for them
and their email address.
But they actually had little collectible cards. So obviously they were promoting themselves. A lot of developers, you could go and ask them, and like I did a few times. I looked side to side and be like, so this is. shouldn't be saying this here, but will this game also be released on Steam? And they would tell me, yeah, it's on GOG and Steam, and it's going to become Xbox Live also. So,
But we won't say
but
which.
we weren't supposed to say that there, so we kind of kept it. I kept it hush hush. Let's see what else. Street Fighter was announcing new characters. They also announced the Marvel versus Capcom, the new Marvel's Capcom, which I can't remember the name of, Infinite or something like that. Eh, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, kind of. I don't like the graphics of it, so.
I've never been a big Marvel person. Forgive me. Okay, I like some of the movies, but yeah, I won't go there. Um, let's see. What was the other one I was interested in? Neo.
So
Neo. How
Neo,
Okay,
Neo.
Neo
Okay, so
because the kanji says
that
Neo.
was the one. Neo was the one I waited in line for. Literally, that was so big thing for Japan is I guess the Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Demon
Which are
Souls.
all awesome games.
They've influenced a lot of the Japanese games. So Let It Die definitely influenced by them, and Neo, which is a Team Ninja, so it's the Ninja Gaiden Dead or Alive team, and it plays a little Ninja Gaiden-ish. But other than that, the menus, the items, everything, how the horror, how it feels, very much a Dark Souls clone kind of feel. But also has this almost Witcher-like aspect. I mean, the main character looks like the Witcher. Literally, if they took Geralt, and he's a foreigner. They even say he's like half Japanese blood or whatever. His name is William, and with a Japanese last name, something like that. So, but he's like a like kind of the Witcher can use his abilities for mutations or whatever. This guy can talk to spirits, almost like a Mushishi kind of style thing. He can talk to all the kami and the different yokai, and then he can help defeat demons and stuff. But definitely an interesting game because he gave you a plethora of weapons. You had flintlock pistols and rifles. You had every kind of Japanese samurai outfit. You picked up random loot from enemies, and you could equip armor and stuff. It was very, very good. Very much worth sitting, waiting for at least 30, 40 minutes to experience. Other than that, there was Gravity Rush. I've not played the first one. Forgive me. I heard it's an amazing game. But apparently they're going to port the first one to PS4, and the second one is there, and it was really fun to see. Other than that, things to experience was they had a wall and they give you silver markers, and you get a big PlayStation emblem there, and you could go and write your name on it. We actually uploaded we did a photo of us where we wrote our Would You Play emblem and signed. I signed for Nisarian, but we signed it. So definitely PlayStation experience was the experience that we want to go experience again.
Again, yes. A few warnings though for people in case they didn't know is it does tend to be in a different location every year.
Stays West Coast to me. Stays West Coast.
West Coast mainly, but it's a different location. We were lucky that was in Anaheim this year. Also, ahead of time, just so y'all know that unlike Comic Con, this is 18 and up only, which is why I had to stay home because we got kiddos. It is 18 and up only, so you cannot go if you don't have a babysitter or you're under 18 for obvious reasons. Games like Let It Die, Resident Evil, they're all
and they also had
MA.
So they also had like a PlayStation game for baseball there, and they had a sports bar for the baseball set up, and they had beer.
And they did have
alcohol there, which it was.
So
but
ID checks all around.
It was nice because it felt like you didn't have to worry about the lines being as worse or shopping or anything else. It was definitely more tailored to the fans than E3 was. It was definitely there for Sony to say, "Hey, you're a PlayStation fan. We're glad you're a PlayStation fan. Here, partake in being a fan." And that's what it was all about. We'll have more to come on our experience, but definitely thank you for tuning into Would You Play, and stand by for more stuff to come. Thank you.